I don't want points for that one.
Yes, we are. I have money in my swear jar.
Well,
Good
the
evening,
rest of the world didn't
everybody.
hear me, so I'm good.
Please excuse my voice again. Whenever I'm working diligently, I lose my voice. I don't know why that is. I just do. But tonight we have, it's such an amazing guest. All right, we are discussing this book here, okay? Looking for Angels, a guide to understanding and connecting with angels. We have one of the authors because it's co-authored, but Scott is with us. And let me tell you, Mama, you know what
Yeah,
happened
I know how you do, and you're like that's
when
like the book. You can tell it's a book about angels because you're in heaven reading that book for the amount of dog-eared corners you have. Like,
it is amazing. It is amazing. But I'm going to, and there's an answer in here that I have been waiting for so long, and I'm going to let everybody know. But I'm going to put his video up and get him in here because I'm very excited to do this.
do it.
This week in the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, we welcome Dr. Scott Guerin. The driving force behind Scott's life has been his passion for unraveling the mysteries of God, universe, and source, and the intricate tapestry of their relationship with humanity. A distinguished author, educator, and retired healthcare professional, Scott is committed to the exploration of spiritual development. With 2 master's degrees and a doctorate in human development with a focus on spiritual development, Scott's journey has been a remarkable one that delves into the profound realms of the human spirit. His popular Angel in Training series describes how society has begun to shift from organized religion to spirituality. Through it, Scott shares his experiences over decades of pursuing a spiritual life, resulting in 3 books, A Spiritual Journey, and 12 lessons that document his journey to spiritual freedom. His conclusion is that we are all angels in training, eternal, connected, and capable beyond belief. His new book, Looking for Angels, A Guide to Understanding and Connecting with Angels, was written by Dr. Guerin and renowned intuitive Nicole Bigley. This book shares the history of angels throughout religion, science, and psychology. In addition, detailed instructions are provided to help you connect with your spirit team. You can find the book on lookingforangels.com. You can learn more about Scott or take his free spiritual course, Where Are You in Your Spiritual Journey?, by visiting angelintraining.org or follow him on Instagram at Scott Guerin Author. And we welcome you and everyone to the Fox Den.
Hey, Scott, I'm so happy to have you here.
Hi, well, thank you for having me on this Thursday evening.
Yeah, and we've been like on and off with shows lately too, and it's been kind of up and down. But I'm telling you, I'm so happy to finally have this. We had this scheduled before, so I had gotten this. This is the one where I got this beautiful boxed.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So when I opened it, it was all packaged in here. I'm going to show you what's in here. I have an angel candle, an Archangel Michael candle. There are crystals in there, and I have angel aura, quartz, and angelite, and it has a whole thing how to care for your crystals and everything. This is the inside of the box. This was surrounding the book. There is so much in here. A beautiful bookmark, all kinds of information. I mean, what a beautiful presentation.
Oh, well, thank you.
Loved it, loved it, loved it. So I've been trying to do this just for that. And even you get matches for your candle.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
A beautiful crystal, a beautiful quartz.
Yeah.
Like a little sticker here. Looking for angels. I mean, it's like
it's sort of like a starter kit.
Yeah.
Was this whose idea was all of this?
Well, Nicole's her background, her day job is in public relations. So she said, let's have a box like this. And then it was a group effort to, come up with the design and what's included and all that. So, it was definitely a team effort. led by her. So it was fun, and we have some of those, a few left if anyone's interested on looking for angels.com. They're called gift boxes. So yeah.
I mean, honest to God, I couldn't believe it because usually I get a book. I get a book in an envelope. It's mailed to me, and I'm like, "What is this?" When I get this big box, I was thoroughly impressed.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you.
now about this book. Okay, there are a lot of deep things going on in this book, but it is also a guidebook, as in it's like dossiers. It's dossiers for the archangels, for deities. I mean, for everything. If you want to know about Jesus, you even have it here. And there's like a dossier on him.
Yeah.
I mean, it is pretty amazing. So you want to know about anybody, you just come. I have all my things dog-eared. It doesn't matter because there's too many dog ears. It's just
It's
like you dog-eared every page.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
I mean, really. I mean, you talk about chakras. You talk about. I mean, if it's paranormal is in here, metaphysical. It's not just it's angels in Christianity, Buddhism. It's so much. It is so much.
Well, thank you. And that's what we wanted to do, is to have it not like a book, like a novel full of stories, which are a lot of wonderful books out there with angel stories and this and that. But we wanted it to be a guidebook where almost like a reference book, because some days you'd want to say like, well, what about angels and science? And other days you may say, I really want to know about how to open up my psychic senses, so it's that type of book.
Right. And you have step by step meditations, how to. It is in here. It's not just saying, oh, well, we can do this, and then you go on to the next chapter. It's like, no, it is there. It is all there.
Yeah. And we've run across so many people that, and I'm sure they're practitioners, or they're very skilled and sensitive intuitives, and it's like they are so far ahead of you or me, so okay, great, they talk with maybe past lives, or past loved ones or angels, but it's like, how do I first of all, I think the default answer is like, well, I can't talk to angels. I'm not intuitive or psychic at all. And so that's in a sense, the audience that we wanted to get to say, yes, everyone does have psychic abilities.
Yep.
Everyone does have a spirit team. And this is how you can reach out to them.
Yeah,
exactly. And it states, you tell them exactly how to do that. Now, Mama D, when she was a child, would talk to angels in church.
Well, yeah.
They used. I was born and raised Catholic. I had all the sacraments, and when we used to go to Wednesday evening, whatever the hell it was called, excuse me, heck, it was called. The priest would be talking, and my brain would be off. I would just, he'd have to physically come over and touch me to break me out of where I was with my conversations. So it's like, for me, I remember one time I posted something on Facebook, and I don't care what people have to say. You get to believe what you get to believe. It's not, what I believe is my choice. What you believe is your choice. I'm not going to try and make you, And one time I had put down an angel, and I used the vernacular she or her. Oh my God, I got, angels are all man. Yeah. Angels are not an actual. They're not a physical being. It's what we put them to. They're an ethereal. They're a light. They're an energy. They're not like. It's not like you're born a man or a woman. It's just it is. And he says, "Well, no, I was it." And it's like, well, you can believe what you want to believe, and then I'm going to believe what I want to believe. Yeah. And he was all flustered, and he said, "Well, I guess you're going to remove my comment now." No, you have your right to your beliefs. I'm not going to take it away. People might trust what you have to say and agree with you. So let them comment. I'm not, I don't hide anything. This is the way I believe, and the rest of y'all can
the one statistic that I knew for a while is like how many religions are there in the world, and the number is about 4,200. Kind of best guess in a
Yeah.
couple different sources, right?
Mhm.
And then I just fell upon another statistic because I was like, how many? I wonder how many Christian denominations there are.
Mhm.
And the number came back from this one website, 42,000 Christian,
Wow.
kind of distinct Christian, like Orthodox this and,
Right.
Mhm.
Well, I believe in this, and you believe
Yeah.
in that. And
Yeah.
I'll believe
So,
all of what you're believing except for this, and that's another sect.
yeah.
And then I believe all that,
Yeah.
not that, and not this. That's
Yeah.
another
Mm.
sect.
Yeah.
So
So there's a
And
lot
the
of
thing is,
definitions out there. Yeah.
exactly. And you have to be allowed to question things. And that's what I found that with religion, okay, the way I was brought up, you weren't to question, you were just to take it at that value that the priest said to you, and you would do. And I remember I was like 12, I think, just before the preteen, at that horrible age where I questioned the heck out of everything. And he was talking about the Virgin Mary, and I was like, he's like, what is it, darling? I said, how could she be a virgin if she had a baby? To have a baby, you have to have sex. Oh my God. I thought
Oh,
the
yeah.
church was going to fall down.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, gee. Yeah.
Ask questions, because that's the only way. People may not like the questions, but there'll be somebody out there who's willing to answer. It's like when people come into our chat and they say, I've got a stupid question. And I was like, there's no such thing as a stupid question. The only stupid question is if you don't ask it, because there's somebody out there who has the same question.
Yeah.
So it's not stupid.
But now I'm going to tell you my thing.
Oh, yes. The story.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Because ad nauseum, you people have heard this story. I have asked multiple guests on my show, on our show, and my show beforehand even, what this deity that I saw was.
Okay.
Okay. I finally have my answer, and I know it in my soul that this is the answer. Why? It's because it was under Archangel Ariel.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So I read Archangel Ariel, lion or lioness of God. Okay. And sometimes, like, it's been depicted with lions. All right. It's been depicted as a lion head. Okay. Now, this is what I saw so long ago in a guided meditation.
Wow. Wow.
And look,
Yeah.
Archangel Ariel.
Wow.
How insanely close, okay, is that? Because it was almost a human face, but lion-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how I saw that was a guided meditation to find my spirit guide. Okay. And how appropriate is this is that Ariel works with animals. Right? So
that's where your foxes.
When I went through my guided meditation, I ended up in a cave. I was supposed to stay in the cave. There was a little light piercing on the cave, and I picked at it, and it crumbled. And there was a field, like kind of like behind you, like that green, like that field, but going up a hill. Okay, on top of the hill, and there were foxes. There were foxes all around me, all around, sitting with me. Like I crawled out and I looked, and I was like, I knew I shouldn't go any further. I just knew that. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking, and all these foxes are like, making sure I don't go up the hill too, but I wouldn't. So now I know the fox is definitely my guide. Okay, but they are also the caretaker between the spirit realm and our realm. Okay, so they were protecting their boundaries. But when I looked up that hill, that being was standing there facing away from me at an altar. It really was. A book was open. It was illuminated. Okay, it was a big book, and I thought it was a person because it had long hair. Okay. And then it turned around and looked at me, and that was the face. And I was I will never not see this face. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's just there forever.
Now, how long ago was that? How was that? A long time ago?
Years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool.
I know. And I have asked so many times, and I've heard, oh, well, there's cat people, this and that, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All this. I've heard all these answers, and I'm just like,
Wow.
You always know that you'll know what it is when it happens.
Yeah, and that like you're saying, it in your soul, you just know it. You just know it.
I
Oh,
absolutely
that's
no one.
great.
So thanks to you, I finally have.
Oh,
It's,
that's
I mean, it
great.
has to be like
Yeah.
15 plus years,
Mm,
maybe even more than that, like 20 years. I
mm,
mean, that's how long ago, like when I
mm,
first got into all of
Nice.
this, was when I was doing all these meditations because I was like so full bore into everything and I wanted to know everything right now.
mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wanted to know who my spirit guides were. I
Mm,
wanted to know who my angels were. I wanted to know who my guides were. I wanted to know all
mhm,
that, you know. And that
mhm,
meditation was supposed to be for a guide, a human guide or an angel or whatever. And
mhm,
I'm like, well, what is this? You know?
mm.
And there it is. So
Wow. And then this, the list that we put in there aren't, exhaustive. I mean, there's more,
right.
there's more archangels and
Mhm.
ascended masters and that, but we just
Yes.
wanted to keep it. And then, Nicole
This
kind of
book, this book would have
Kind of
been like
simple.
out here
Yeah.
for
if
her.
you had,
Yes, I know. Yeah.
you know.
There was a lot of decision points. Like, do we want to go down this and cover it? Like, we really want to, but but yeah, we kept it. Tried to be succinct as possible and provide the most information.
It's wonderful because you two should definitely write more. Now I know that you are almost through another.
Yes, yes. I'm working on. Should I show that? I'm
Yeah,
so happy
Yep.
with
Yep.
this cover. Just came back. It's called Awkward Awakening.
that's gorgeous.
Like
Finding
finding
our
your way
way
home.
home, and it's really meant. And I was actually given, and this is as an assignment when I was in Egypt. I went to Egypt a couple months ago, and during that time, I had a very profound experience there in the Great Pyramid in the King's Chamber, and
Mhm.
shortly after that, I was like, you're going to be writing this book, and it's about awakening because, as maybe many of you know, there is a shift going on, um,
Yeah.
and it is
Mhm.
a positive movement. Now, I was listening to one podcast from and Rachel Corpus, I think, uh,
All
is
right.
a angel communicator, and she was channeling the angelic realm, and as well as uh, the angelic realm, and her message was that we've done it. Humanity has is done it. We've achieved that next step
Mhm.
where we can move into like the fifth dimension, more love, unity, the next step up, and we're going to leave this these dualistic ideas and
Mhm.
hate and things behind. But they were telling her, and she was telling us that it's a done deal, which really, this is one of those things that kind of struck a chord with me. Like, it's like signing, it's like when you want to buy a home and you sign the contract, like
Mhm.
you don't move in that day, it's just
Yeah.
coming. And that's what she was saying, was that over human history, thousands of years, we've attempted to make these moves, but it hasn't happened. And right now we're very close. And then in the near future, we will get to that point.
Mm.
However, there's going to be some turmoil first. There's going to be storm before the calm. And I've
Right.
heard this from
And
other people.
look what's going on now in the
Yeah,
world.
it could be that. And then some people, they say, well, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. And some people say, well, it's will be tumultuous, but it won't be, like really bad. It's all over the place is how bad it's going to be and
Yeah.
how upsetting. But you have a lot of things changing. And certainly astrologically, there's things happening for the next 20 years. And so a lot of things happen like that. So I was told that people are going to need some grounding,
Yep.
and as we go into that, and so that's when the idea was kind of said, all right, awakening. Let's talk about it. Very much in the same vein as same approach as looking for angels, like pragmatic. Written to the people for people who are like, yeah, I don't know. I used to be a Catholic, a Protestant, whatever, and I'm not into that anymore, but where do I
Mhm.
go? So
Right.
that type of thing. So very, very happy to be
Yeah. And
working
I
on that.
know so many people that are like that now. I mean, I changed my views that way a while ago as well, because I was raised Catholic too, you know, the whole thing. And, you know, then I heard about Judaism. I heard about Buddhism. I heard about, you know, even like voodoo, hoodoo, sangria, all kinds of things. Okay, now all these things have their toes dipped in the same religious pot. Right? Their deities all look the same. They just have different names. Right? And what they look at, you know, I mean, this goes so far back. This goes back before we had travel from continents, and there is iconography that shows that the deities that look the same.
Yeah.
How can that be? Right? So I mean, it's like, okay, so there is the baseline. It is people though that change it, you know, through what happens.
Yeah. Well, and then that's the other trend. And I've been following it my whole life, mainly because my path has been through organized religion and then dedicated like 100%, whatever. I was Protestant Christian, but whatever church I was going to, I was like in it 100%. And that didn't work out for me. And I had to kind of, rethink my whole approach to God, spirit, who am I, type of thing. And so that seems to be a trend. Well, it is a trend happening in the US. For example, 2 years ago, the Pew Research, which is a respected research firm that tracks religious and theological topics, they were tracking people who say, I'm unaffiliated. What religion are you? Unaffiliated. And the unaffiliated percentage hit an all-time high 2 years ago at 30% in United States of people who are not affiliated with a certain religion. And then other trends.
He said, I'm atheist. I'm not. He would not go in a church.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you have that, you have an increase, on the monetary side, you have an increase in psychic services being purchased. You have people who consider themselves spiritual than religious on the rise. So that all that is kind of, the groundwater in moving, to a different place, meaning a more direct relationship with our spirit team, unlike anything else before.
Yeah, and you do talk about that on here, like how you can connect with your spirit team, your soul team, whatever, soul family, whatever you want to call it. We'll call it a different way. So you have also connections on how to do this.
Yeah, and then a big question we get all the time, like, what is my spirit team? And my friend, my lifelong friend, he's an engineer. He read the book line by line. He's a devout Catholic, and he said, I spent so much time trying to figure out a different name than team, like spirit team. Because they got like pom-poms, like go.
Right.
But
well, they do that.
Yes, they're right. They're exactly right. But in any case, a spirit team, in our perspective, a spirit team is comprised of multiple spiritual. It can be comprised of multiple spiritual beings, like archangels, like angels, like deities, like past loved ones. And recently, we didn't get in the book, but recently we both are impressed on this. Extraterrestrials can also be part of the spirit team, and actually, I'm getting into that in the second half of my new book, Awkward Awakening, because it's real, and that's part of our awakening and ascension is to be connected with those from living outside of the U.S. of the planet. So so the spirit team can be a variety, and the way to connect with them, that's what we lay out. And basically, it's opening up. It's you can do meditations that we propose. We can have you can get your own find your own meditations. There's thousands of them around, but in any case, that's how we start making the connection.
I love that. I want to back up. Like, I know you put that up, Mama, but Victor put up before, spirituality is a real fun religion. My church offers us a free reading every Sunday, which is cool. Now,
Wow.
then he
Nice.
says, in my personal experience, someone might mix up spirituality with a kind of optimistic agnostic combo, and delving into it, that mindset makes sense. Spirituality is a kind of hands-off religion unless you want more. Now, that last sentence, it's like, now, the hands-off religion,
Mm.
is that, do you
Yeah.
mean like preachy? Because like how we were in our Catholicism, like, you do this and this and this,
Mm.
and you just believe. Is that what you mean by that? I'm not sure, Victor.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, the way I took that, and Victor can clarify, but yeah, hands off meaning like the rigorous, the discipline,
Hmm.
you have to do this and that. Um, but I would not say it's hands off. I would say that definitely a robust relationship with with our spirit team. Um,
Okay. Nothing
uh,
is asked of you. Oh, well, maybe
oh
he'll be
yes.
asking.
Oh, that was, and I came up through a very conservative Christian group, denomination, and what I woke up to was that what they said was unconditional love was not unconditional love,
Mm.
and like, oh, it's great, unconditional love, we love it, but this, but that, and
Yeah.
what happens if you don't? Um,
Done.
yeah, so
Totally.
the unconditional love and I say can terrify people because they want to know, they want boundaries, they want punishment, um, they want
Uh,
rewards based on
yeah.
actions. And
Well,
so
you
when
know
you
what,
say,
though? I've
yeah,
always said, okay, between laws and religion, okay, the two,
hmm,
people need that, because without that, it would be chaos. All right, look what happens in the streets when they
yeah,
say a meteor is coming.
mm,
People do. They
yeah,
go nuts and they start looting and they start terrorizing and they
mm,
start, raping and pillaging and everything else, right? So,
Mhm.
I mean, there's a moral fiber that we all have, that we
hmm,
are all born with, unless you're a psychopath, and I think this turned off. Okay,
yeah,
but I mean, we all have that basic instinct of what's right and wrong. But
mm,
religion and law,
mm,
there are consequences to the adverse actions.
yeah,
Harming another, taking someone else's property,
mm.
those types of things.
Some people say like, well, you don't, what church you go to? No, I don't go to any church right now. I don't go. I don't belong to a church. Well, people have to have a religion because, chaos is going to reign if you don't have, a religion to tie you down. I'm like, oh, you mean like what's happening in the world right now?
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
80% of the world ascribes to one religion or the other, and it's not working, you know.
No, it isn't.
You're right.
And
You're right. But I mean, but people do need that. There are people that are brave enough to want to know, brave enough to want to better yourself, brave enough to help try to change the world. And then there are ones that are just followers.
Mm,
I, you know, unfortunately,
mm,
they will follow the wrong people or the
mm,
wrong.
sometimes there are people out there who need to believe in something,
Yeah,
and
I'm not
it's such
saying
a
it
thing. They have to have
but
something to
it's
mm,
follow.
yeah,
yeah.
and I'm not saying be Catholic, be Protestant, be this, be
Mm,
that. I'm not saying any of that because I'm
mm,
mixed. I'm a mix. I don't know what you want to call us. You want to call us hybrids? I don't know
mm,
because
Listen,
I
that's
do
true.
I like this of this and that of that and that of that. It's my beliefs. What is helping me at this moment in time? How can I help other people with knowing what I know at this time? You
mm.
Yeah.
know?
Well, and that's the thing, is to say, to make the paradigm shift, to say, just as they said to Jesus, like, where's the kingdom? Tell us where the kingdom is. And what does he say? The kingdom of heaven is within you. And all the other religions, you can find statements like that were kind of embedded there in plain sight, but we have a tendency to want to go outside of ourselves, to be told, maybe to hang on to something outside of ourselves and not trust that we have connection to the divine, to God, source, universe, whatever, and the many spiritual supports, and like angels, like past loved ones,
Right.
are here. They're here around us now. So it's that change to say, like, hey, I've got everything right now, right here. All I need to do is ask.
Yep.
Amen. That is true. I mean, I'm a paranormal investigator. So I do know all about the afterlife in that sense. Not all. Shouldn't say all. Don't take me at that. I know what I know. I know what I know to be true. I have experienced, many different things that I believe can't be anything else other than a spirit communicating with me, or my group, or whatever. And it's amazing. I know psychics that see. I know, and you go through all the clairs in
Yeah.
here too. Clairsentient, clairaudient, so sight, smell, hearing, taste, all the things. You explain what they all are. Again, like I said, it is a guidebook for everything. This
Yeah.
is a guidebook for everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it's
thank
even
you.
got, it's got animals in there. It's got mythology in here. You talk about the Greek gods and Zeus and his parents and his kids and the demigods and everything else. I mean, you if you want to know something, this is a must. It's a must.
Thank you, Gina.
You're just within reach, because this is going to always be. I have my books that are within reach here that I need all the time. This is always going to be here.
Yeah.
Because if I
great.
want to know about Raphael, or if I want to know about this or that, or if I'm helping a client, and they want to know, well, if I lost something, what do I do? Well, why don't you try asking an archangel? What's the right one? Wait a minute. I know I read this, and I can look it up. All right. You guys want to know what it is? Look it up.
Yeah. One of the popular aspects of the book, and we do have an audiobook version, and we have, because there's meditations in there. Excuse me, about 7, and it starts out with just opening, connecting with oneness. How to open up my psychic senses, how to connect with a specific deity. And we had a lot of people asking for those, mainly the oneness and opening up psychic senses were the two most popular meditations. And we said, well, you can read them in the book, or you can go in the audio book. And then we had sent it out a few times as well. But those are like the basics, the basic steps for people just getting into it.
Yeah. Do you have those just so that someone can go get your meditations?
There are, so Nicole Bigley, the co-author, she has been running a podcast called A Psychic Story for the last 5 years. Excuse me. I'm getting your cold.
I'm sorry.
I'm over StreamYard.
So sorry.
And so we posted some of those. I think the oneness meditation as an episode. I have to just check back and see that, but there are a couple there, and then there's a whole series of meditations on there as well. Back in the earlier episodes, you're gonna have to look for it, but not loose and not like single tracks at this point.
Okay. Because I'm always telling people, because they always say, well, I don't know how to meditate. I can't meditate by myself. I'm like, there are guided meditations. You don't have to meditate by yourself. You don't have to rely on your mind shutting off. You can listen to someone telling you what to do, And that's exactly how I had to start out as well, because my mind has a problem with stop.
Oh, yes. Well, that's
I feel like my mind is like a filing cabinet and all the drawers are open, and I'm like constantly.
I would highly recommend, if anybody can do this. It's kind of extreme, but it's, and I don't want to say life-changing, but it sort of is. It's the Vipassana 10-day meditation retreat. And
Okay, spell that?
It's Vipassana, Vipassana. And what it is, it's a 10-day sequence of meditations that Siddhartha Gautama used to become the Buddha.
Hmm.
Supposedly the same 10-day sequence that he used 2,500 years ago was retained, was lost for a few hundred years, and then came back. And now there's centers all around the world. There's one here in the Northeast, right? There's one in Massachusetts, Vipassana Meditation Center, and that's where I went, Shelburne, Massachusetts,
Oh.
and they're all around. And what it does, it's a 10-day thing. I won't get into all the details, but basically you're meditating like 9 hours a day, with intermittent times of breaks and teachings. But it kind of, and you take the vow of noble silence, which means you can't talk, you can't read, you can't write, you can't even look at people. You have to avert your eyes. So you literally are alone with your thoughts for 10 days. And then they go through certain sequences of things. But basically that was the first time. The first 3 days were excruciating. Like I wanted to be out of there. I was reading my toothpaste tube just to read something. So,
For me,
but
the
after,
issue would be the talking.
the what?
For me, the issue would be not talking,
Yes. Well,
and I would lose my marbles.
yeah. And but you're in it. You're in that mode, and
Yeah.
But your mind is able to calm down to a level where it's like riding a bike. Like once you leave that time, you can kind of get back to that feeling if you want to,
Yeah.
and calm your mind down. But it's absolutely wonderful.
Wow.
And in our society, we got things coming at us all over the place. Our phones.
Oh my God, yeah.
You
And
know.
the empaths of the world, the ones that don't know how to ground and shield, are going out of their minds right now. There's so much,
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
like,
I just found a link for the Vipassana meditation, and I put it into the chat room. So everybody
Oh,
beautiful.
great.
Sure.
Okay.
Awesome.
will pop it
Yeah,
on.
highly recommend. It's my wife thought it, I was planning it for 6 years because I needed 14 days
Okay.
off, and you can't communicate with anyone either. Like you go and you're
No phone, no.
incommunicado. You cannot, unless of an emergency, they give you a number for someone to call. But my wife thought it was like a terrorist training camp, and she'd never see me again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no, this is real. But yeah, highly recommend them.
Well, you also have in here the story of Buddha and how Buddha became Buddha and what he didn't eat for 42 days or something like that.
Yeah.
Do anything sad out there. I mean, I can't imagine. You no sleeping, no eating, no whatever for that long. That's near death.
Yeah. Some people still do that. They still do do that. My favorite story and actually this was the spark of the book of Angels, was it's that I made a whole chapter 2. And I was reading, right? I was reading online magazine, Rolling Stone magazine, and I saw an interview of Carlos Santana. And I'm like, I love Carlos Santana.
Story. I know.
And would you want me to share it now, or
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. So I'm like, okay, Carl, I loved his song. I hadn't heard from him in many years. He was big on Woodstock, and after the first Woodstock, and after I hadn't heard from him. But then I had heard a recent album that he put out. This is back in the early 2000s, and it was called Supernatural. And so it's like 10 years after he'd done anything. And the lead song on that was a song called Smooth by Rob Thomas. And I just love that song. I love the album. And so I saw the article in Rolling Stone, like, oh, I want to see what's going on. So I wanted to hear about his music background, it started out with his spiritual heritage and how much he put into not religion, but into his spiritual practices and meditation, and how the music was part of it. And that he was at a bookstore, a religious bookstore or a spiritual bookstore, one day, and he heard some people talking in a room off to the side. And he said, "Well, what's going on there?" He go, "Oh, well, they're channeling Metatron." And I like that. Like, it's a time out. I didn't know what Metatron, who Metatron was. I thought it was a
But you're
Decepticon
right.
from Transformer.
Oh my God, that's one of my dog ears. That's true. That's
So
true.
I looked up, and actually Metatron, was a ancient being, and I had known about Enoch because I studied the Bible for many years. Went to seminary actually, and I knew that Enoch walked on earth, and then Enoch was not. That was his thing. Like, he disappeared. So basically, the man Enoch, became Metatron and ascended to archangel status. And so they were channeling him. And so he got into it. Long story short, Metatron said, "You are going to have an album, and it's going to be very successful." And he's like, "Wow." So I think it was 2 years later, he finally got this album together. It gets out, wins awards, Grammys, worldwide awards. It's out. And after he won a Grammy for it, the next day, Archangel, he was channeling with Archangel Metatron again. And Metatron said, "We have given you a great success. Now we want something back." And he was freaking out because, like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Is I'm going to kill somebody, or what do we do? And they said,
Royalties.
"We want royalties." No, he said, you are going to have to tell the world about your molestation. And it turns out that Carlos was sexually abused every other day for about 2 years when he was 10 to 12 years old. And he didn't say by who, but he never told anyone about it. I guess a few people knew about it, but he didn't want to share it because it's so painful.
Yeah.
And so this was 1999 and 2000. This whole thing happened. And he resisted. He said, no. And then kind of like, "No, you're going to do this." So he went on a media tour. He went on Newsweek and Rolling Stone and TV and telling people about his molestation, how he got through that. And the answers that he got in the midst of the response was, "You're helping so many people get through the abuse that they had." And the kicker was that this whole thing happened when the Catholic Church found out about all the abuse within the church for decades, and that was all coming out. People were, who were abused were, now telling their stories, and to me, I
someone like that telling the story that the regular people can go and tell that story. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does.
And I always tell Nicole, I said, I think this is the biggest, most impactful angel story that I have ever heard, because it impacted thousands and thousands of people, and it was a direct intervention of Archangel Metatron. So anyway, that's what spawned the book. I want to know more about angels and how they can interact with the world, and how we can have a robust relationship with them.
Yeah.
Well, now I know Ariel interacted with me to give me my spirit, and I know when I went to a psychic once, he said, "I have 2 angels with me at all times." So now I know that's the other one I don't know yet. But
well, and a lot of friends ask me, they go, "Well, how do you know? How do you start?" I go, "Well, the first step is you be aware." I mean, just think of all the coincidences that you brush off, like, "Oh, I made a decision last minute, and it turned out that I averted something really bad. And if I didn't make that decision, then it would," or the proverbial accidents, or and we put
left on time, but you were late. But if you'd left on time, you would have been in that big accident.
Right. And in the book, we put in and I think there's 17 angel stories from listeners of the Psychic Story podcast sent in, and then also for the book. But and there's books out there with hundreds and hundreds of that. And so it's just being aware and coincidences. A song comes on the radio that reminded you of someone that you needed to
Mhm.
call. It's all around us, and so that's part of what quieting the mind is, why it's so important, because then you can be open to the subtleties of spirit,
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me, well, my husband died, my wife died, my mom, my father, my child, right?
Mm,
I don't have any signs from them, blah, 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 blah. And they're just so emotional and so uptight and hurt and angry and all the emotions. And it's like, well, I guarantee you they're leaving you signs.
mm,
You've got to be aware,
mhm.
I mean, it could be this is right here. And then you get up in the morning and it's right here. I
Yes.
mean, you know what I mean? It could be, they're learning, I get feathers all
Mm.
the time. I got a blue feather, a big a blue feather when I get
Mm,
out of bed. Like they always leave these right when I get out of bed that I'm going to step on these things. Well, a
mm.
big blue feather like this big was that
Yeah.
my, I'm like, okay, you know,
Well, and we can't be we should not be afraid of asking for a sign. And even some people say be as specific as possible.
yes,
Say, I
Yeah.
want to see a giraffe, some symbol of a giraffe, because,
Right.
tomorrow, to let me know you're here, or something like that.
well, you
Um,
want to know a big one from my dog, right?
okay.
I
Yeah.
lost two of my babies. Okay, now Lacey, my love. Okay, I lost her. I got to back up because I had a dog, Max, and I
Mm,
always had black labs, and Max was dying, and my daughter had a little puppy that she'd bring over and liven up, and I said I got to get a little puppy for Max to liven Max up because Max is, like tumor, losing it. Well, I got Lacey, little Papillon. Never had a little dog before, so she was like my little angel. But then I lost Max. A year later, I lost my husband. Right, so
mm,
it was just me and Lacey. So Lacey, was my love. Okay. Now, when she passed, I moved from Mass to here. She passed here. Lacey would leave me signs all the time because I was
mm,
begging for signs because this
mm.
really destroyed me. And I would get up and I'd be like, Mama, I'm stepping on food. I got food on my feet and I vacuum everything. I'm a feed, right? I had a cleaning company, for God's sakes. I'm not a vacuum, right? There's no dog food in this house, but yet she's leaving me food that I'm
Yep.
stepping,
Mm,
and all these
mm.
things. Then she was bringing me little bits of dog bones and everything. So I know she's leaving me
Right.
signs.
Yeah.
John, who was in the chat room here, was over my house not too long ago, said that my puppy's still out here playing with a child that's
Mm,
on my steps here. And
mm,
spirits, and that's wonderful. But
mm,
now Biscuit, my second dog, I just had him for 3 years. He was an old dog, and I took him in. When he passed, I'm like, I'm not getting any signs from Biscuit. I really would love to have a sign from Biscuit. So I was asking. This right after Christmas. During Christmas, I move all my furniture to put up my Christmas tree. Okay. So I have a big chair, and I have to
mm,
pick it up and move it. There's nothing under it. When I went to put it back after I took my Christmas tree away, there is Biscuit's favorite toy under that chair. And I'm,
mm. Wow.
how did he
Wow.
get
Yeah.
this toy under here? And I was
Yeah.
just like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow. That's
And
really
I
great.
and I put it and because I still have a basket of his toys. I have a shrine to my mom that I lost, my dad, my animals, my husband, all that kind of stuff.
Mm,
It's all in the shrine, this big.
mm,
And next to it, I have a basket of toys. So I put that toy on top of the basket. Tell my neighbor about it because she loved that dog too. And I'm like, let me show you which one it was. I go over to the basket to get it, and it is now not there. So
oh, mm,
I have no idea
oh, it's
where
gone.
this is going to pop up in my house now.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm just like, oh my God, it
Wow.
was right here.
Yeah.
Believe me,
Wow.
because I was like, look, I was saying, show it to Bob, like, look, this was under this chair. How did
Hmm.
this happen? You know?
Yeah. And, and a lot of people, I feel a little bit weird about this, but they say, like, look, angels, our spirit team, like, they want to help us. So no don't think any little request is too stupid, like for them.
I don't know.
So I was like, all right, okay. I was giving a talk, and I mentioned earlier on about, adding extraterrestrials as part of our spirit team, and talk a little bit about, my connection with the Palladians. And I didn't know whether to say that or not, so I'm like, okay, please send me a sign that I should go with this outline. And then I like, let me see a baseball at some point in the day tomorrow. And like, I'm my kids are grown. There's no balls like laying around. There's no sports equipment. So I'm like, later at night, I'm like, well, I did see a baseball. What, I don't know. I didn't know what to make of it. I was watching Jimmy Fallon, the Tonight Show, right? And the intro of the Tonight Show, he's doing a little skit thing, and he's being frisked by the people going into the studio. And he pulls out a baseball. I'm like, and then, and to me, that kind of got me too. Like, it stuck, it made an impression on me. It wasn't just like it's like, yes, this is your sign,
Yeah.
But stuff like that, we can do that.
But people are always looking. I find that a lot of people are looking for big things. Like, when you said that, show me a giraffe, people would actually be looking for an actual full-size giraffe. But, it could be a keychain or whatever. It's like, for me, when I do my healing, when I send healing, I send it on the wings of a butterfly.
Yeah.
So when somebody knows that there's healing coming, I always just say, just keep an eye out for the butterflies. And people will see them in different fashions. It'll be in a poster. I had one gentleman over in the UK. He was like, I don't believe you and your stuff and whatever. It's like, okay, fine. You don't believe it? It's fine. The next day he messages me on Facebook, says, God damn it, woman. I was like, what? He says, I went into the trunk of my car, and when I closed the trunk, there was a butterfly sitting on top of his car.
Wow.
And I went,
yeah.
He says, like, I hate you. I was like, I know.
Yeah, and it's so easy to just rationalize it. Well, this is a butterfly season or whatever, and this is not the
exactly.
But I found in this book, working with Nicole, I found that there's so much going on, but it's subtle. It's subtle. It's not gonna be blaring breaking news on your TV.
Right. Exactly.
It's subtle.
Exactly.
And
sometimes it is, though. Sometimes
yes,
it is.
sometimes,
but when you're that desperate and you need that sign like
yes,
that.
well, yes, and that angelic interventions happen, like that as well when strong action is needed.
Yeah.
I took a divine mediumship course with someone on the East Coast. Carolyn Swift Jones. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She's in Massachusetts. She was teaching a course about how to become a medium, and her definition of medium is broad. It's not just speaking to people who have passed. It's being in connection with your spirit team, and it's a 6 weeks class. You meet for 2 hours once a week, and then you have homework, and the homework is all. And she was teaching this course for 42 years. And so I'm like, wow, that's got to, I'm sure it changed a bit over time, but anyway, the big takeaway for me, and at the very end, like I'm not a practitioner, and 2 years ago, before I got involved with this book, if somebody said, are you psychic? I'd say no. And say, do you have psychic abilities? I'd say no, hard no. But since writing this book, becoming involved with the podcast, The Psychic Story, which I work with Nicole on, it kind of opened things up. But the thing, and out of this mediumship course was like one of her exercises was listen to Mozart, because Mozart has a melody that's kind of higher range, mid to high range, but there's a sub melody that's very deep. And it comes and goes. And she said, listen to those melodies, listen to that deep, deep bass come and go, because that is how spirit comes to us in a very, very deep kind of quieter time. I mean, obviously there's times of strong action, but that is what I learned. And since then been like exploding, connections and things happening because of that.
But now here, like this, I have some of the clairs here that I've talked about before. Clairvoyance, seeing, clairaudience, hearing, clairsentience, sensing, clairgustance, tasting, clairalience or clairfaction, smelling, claircognizance, knowing. I have that claircognizance. I know things. Like I know how to do things, and you have a lot more of the clairs in here that you go into.
Yeah. And now, what have you heard about how many clairs people have?
Oh my God. It's like,
I mean,
well, here we go.
Not or available, but just in general, like, do people have one? Do they have more than one?
Some have more than one, but it's usually one, So like I have claircognizance, I know things, but then again, sometimes I see things, but I definitely hear things, So
yeah, and it may not be an on-off thing. You might have
right,
it like the other day.
I'm not psychic medium. I can't go, like I know all these spirits that are in my house. I know when they come into the room because I hear these tones, like a low and a high tone, so like I know when they're near me, and if they're too close, it's deafening, and I have to tell them to step back. And sometimes I see them in here, and sometimes I don't, but I know they're there. And then if I turn my recorder on, we have conversations. I have lots of that.
Conversations.
Yeah, EVPs with the spirits in my house.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
And you record them on
all the time. Wow. I got thousands of EVPs.
Wow.
I've recorded them, spirits walking. I've got apparitions walking on a thermal camera. Like if I took a thermal image of you walking, you would be bright orange, heat. These are void of heat things walking. So they're black, like things walking, dark purple. Things like these things. You know what I mean? Like faces that I've seen, and these are images out. That's a second story window. That's an image of a man walking down corridor. See, the people are bright.
Right. Yeah, they're giving off heat, right? And
right. So there's so much of that.
Did you ever find out who that person was, or
the one walking down the hall? That's that was at Rolling Hills. So that's there's like a gentle giant. He's over 7 feet tall. That was like the dumping ground home. That they not an asylum, but it went through everything. And this doctor, prominent doctor, had this gigantism child, and he was ashamed, so he dropped him off there. He was very helpful. He was really nice. Roy is his name, and he's a spirit that's always there. However, I got him, walking down the hall, and I've also got him playing, like he plays with a balloon, and I got his handprints moving a balloon up and down and such. Wow. It's like craziness. I mean, I have seen and recorded a lot of things. If you'd like to see the video of them walking, I can show you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Don't be afraid of that device. It's just so we can hear you talk.
So that right there, he's coming out. This is a sunken basketball court. And there is a room. See them walking? Right? They're coming out to play basketball. We're underneath one of the hoops. And then they know that we're there. So we know that they're intelligent. They stopped coming, and then they weren't leaving the doorway. They were just going back and forth and looking at us.
Yes. What's your name?
Yeah. So my friend is like, what are you doing? What is that? See, it's just standing there right now. It's going like, I don't know what to do. And there are others behind it.
We're not going to hurt you. Right there, look at.
Excuse the language, bleep, bleep.
Don't be afraid of us. Come in. If that's you, come in.
See, I didn't know what to do. But that's only a little clip. It's like a minute. But the clip is actually 15 minutes long. And I got 15 apparitions walking in that room, and then a whole bunch of them kind of like peering. And then where it was a sunken basketball court, and it was at a feeble-minded boys' school, right? So up above, there was a chain link fence, and there was fingers gripping the chain link fence and something going like this that I also got on that clip, which is just like beyond. And we were the only two in that whole entire building.
So what were they? They were just kind of walking around. I mean,
They were going to come out. The basketball, like the
Yeah.
whole court, there was a room that was
Yeah.
like the changing room, apparently. They were coming out to play basketball. We were
I
waiting.
guess I always think, like, are they trying to get somewhere? Are they stuck? Are they angry? Are they trying to go to the light? Or can they just be there? Just
Well, that's okay. Here's the thing that I say about that. All right. There are ghosts and there are spirits. Now, these are feeble-minded children, children. If they pass, they're going to go to the place that they know. You know what I mean? They might be afraid to cross. They don't understand.
Yes,
They're going to go to the place that they know. They're going to do the things that they love to do. They love to play basketball, apparently. So that's what they were doing. You know. Now, since they've ripped down this building, whether they're still going there and still doing that, if that is still there for them, I don't know. That bothers me, and I don't live there anymore, so I can't go check, However, I mean, that's the thing, is like we experience so many different things. A normal person dies. Say grandma passes, and sometimes she hangs around. Like if she doesn't cross over and she's hanging around because she wants to make sure all her stuff goes to the right people, make sure that her stuff goes to the right people. And she'll start disrupting things until someone comes in to say, hey, okay, someone like me will come in and listen to her and say, why are you making all this noise in this house? You know what I mean? And find out what's going on. So you're counseling the spirit, you're counseling the people, you find out what it is, and then they go on, they can cross. And I explain to them what the benefits are of crossing. And the benefit is you can cross and you can still come back and you can still be now that person's spirit guide.
Right. Yeah, I mean, my parents both died in 2020. And I cut a couple readings and just, they're around, but I feel like you're to that point, I feel like they're coming back to me. They're not stuck here.
No,
they didn't move on. And one reading I had, they said, they're both in their 30s. That was their fun place was in their 30s. And she said, did you ever go to the ocean? I go, yeah, every summer we went to the ocean, on vacation. And they go, yeah, that's their happy place. That's what they like to do. I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Exactly. And then there's the other scenario too, when someone, say, walks into traffic, gets hit by a vehicle, and dies instantly, and they don't really know what's happening.
Yes, I've heard that too. Yeah.
They're dead. So they're kind of, excuse me, they're like anxiety filled and they're hanging on to all these human emotions because no one's paying attention to them. They're trying to go home. They're trying to do this. They're trying to live their life and no one's, they don't understand that they're gone. So, again, that's where an investigator as a counselor comes in and said, okay, now listen, this is what happened to you. I am sorry to tell you, but this is what happened to you. You have, you have died. You are in spirit form right now. Now what you can do is you have loved ones and family that are waiting for you, eagerly waiting for you to tell you all about the wonderful things that are in the next chapter of our lives.
Yeah.
Go there. Not saying you can't come back here because you can, but go there and check it out. So much family there that you don't even know existed.
Yeah.
You.
And that's the thing with the spirit team, that you have angels, you have loved ones, that are around you. And sometimes I feel like it's at that proverbial 3 a.m, right? You get a thought like, okay, great. Thank you for that thought. And then other times, let me know if this happens to you. Like, it's like a thought and then a thought and then a thought and then like a full, and I'm like, oh no, this is going to be one of those, like, because then I'm awake, and I'm on my phone, like typing notes into my phone.
Well, I have a journal next to my bed, so I'll jot down stuff like that and say, okay, let me go back to sleep now.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm in a team meeting, like I'm in a meeting, like a status meeting, and my other spirit team, some Archangel Michael, Gabriel, my parents, they're all kind of like there. I just feel that, like, okay, let's
Know
do
within
this, Scott.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and that's wonderful. Now, 2 years ago, I would have said, 0. I got 0 on that. So to listeners who are saying like, I don't feel anything, I can't, you just ask, be open, quiet your mind,
Mhm.
and be patient, and things will start happening.
I do. That is for sure. There's no doubt in my mind. And also too, like at night, a lot of people get afraid at night, saying, "I'm being held down. I'm being this. I'm being that." It's like again, okay, we have a human body, and our human body protects itself. So when you go into REM sleep, it paralyzes itself. Okay, so you're paralyzed so that when you have these dreams, falling off a cliff, walking
Mhm.
off the edge, you're not going to actually do that because your
Mm.
body paralyzes itself. So
Oh,
if you get woken up out of that really quickly by, say, a spirit trying to get in touch with you, because that's when your mind shut off. You're not
mm,
thinking about, I got to take Johnny to soccer and go to the grocery store, and how am I going to pay this bill? And what, is someone so treating, whatever. Okay.
mm,
All those
mm,
things, they're not in your mind at night. So a spirit that's desperately trying to reach out to you will do it at night. Right? And
mm,
if they wake you up when you have that thing, that isn't every single one of us that we're paralyzed at the moment. You're not being attacked. You're not being held down. It's your
mm,
own body doing that.
Yeah.
mm, mm.
So it's really imperative that people know that these things, but when you go to bed and you ask a question of, like, okay, now I see all these things out of place. And so maybe you don't know like who's is doing this in your home, trying to get a message to you, like something is
Mm,
just, my keys keep moving, whatever, and
Mhm.
know that passed
mm,
away. You know what I
mm.
mean? Like, well,
Yeah,
what could this be? Ask at night.
yeah. Mm,
Who's moving my stuff? What do you want? Can I
mm,
help you?
mm,
Okay. And then
mm,
you'll get that message too. And like I said,
mm.
write it down, have a little
Yeah.
journal next to your bed,
Yes.
write it down, and then go back to sleep.
Yeah. Along what you're talking about, the people in the basketball court, and what Sharon's comment here, you make your own choices in death, and I think that, well, what do you think of the idea that we do kind of plan things out, like after we die, we we go to this intermediate place, and pick your next life. What are you going to learn? Pick your how you kind of map it out in general.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think of that idea?
Oof.
I believe.
Hey, this is a whole nother ball of
Well,
wax.
yes.
Right? This is a whole nother 2 hour
It's not a
show.
simple question.
It's like getting into Akashic records. Do we have our planet
Mm.
paths made out for us? Do
Oh,
we have all our
oh,
lives
yeah,
laid
yeah, yeah.
out for us? How many lives do you think we've had already? I know I've lived many. Mama D has lived quite a few as well. I know
Mhm.
I'm on my last one. And
Oh,
why do I know that? Because I'm okay with it. Like a lot of people are like, I don't want to die. I don't want, there's so much more, this. Like she knows there's so much more, there's more that she's doing. I've
well,
done it. I've done
well,
it.
what do
Done
you
it
mean
in all my
last one?
past lives. I
What does
just,
that mean? What are you gonna? What's the next?
I'm going to another place. I am
Oh,
not
okay.
going to
You're
come
gonna
back.
be a spirit being.
Yep. And
Uh,
I'm done on this planet.
mm.
She'll be a pain in my booty in my life. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. A lot of people are afraid of death, and
Oh,
I don't understand that.
well, there's no
Maybe
death,
maybe I'm
right?
special and I
No,
just
it's just a different,
but
yeah,
it's like I don't fear it.
Mm,
I know that the time will come that it'll be my time. It's for me to go because I've already planned it before I
mm.
came into this life,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. And I believe that we choose our parents, we choose our lives. We may never understand it. I mean, we'll
Mm,
figure it out when our time is finally done and be like, that's why I was here. But I
mm,
believe that there's nothing to be afraid of. The
mm,
only fear is that I'm going to be in pain. I'm allergic to pain. So we
mm,
don't have no pain. Darlene gets no pain. Whatever
mm.
happens, she's gonna fall asleep and that'll be the end of it. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't get how people are afraid. I understand like Gina, and I know a few other friends that say, that's it. I'm not coming back on this planet. There's no way I'm coming back here. I don't care who I am, but I ain't gonna be
Well,
back here. I
oh, it's
know
not
that
that.
I'm
I'm not
still
doing it out of defiance. I'm doing
no,
this
I
out
know. I'm
yeah.
not saying that you do, but I'm saying that there are people out there who said, I've had it, I'm done. I'm not
Yeah.
coming back.
Mm,
But that's not like for me, if you're that insistent, you're going to come back because there's something
Yeah,
that still
I was
has to
just thinking
serve.
that. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
something attracting
Yeah,
you in a
like Gina's
sense.
just like, yeah, I know I'm not coming back. I've got other planes to do. I've got other things to do, and
Well,
like that's fine. She's just chill about it. She's not like insistent. Like no, like when your mother asks you, did you eat the last cookie? No, you did, right?
well,
But it's like,
here's a crazy thought. I've heard this from 4 people that
mm,
says there's a waiting list to incarnate on planet Earth. Have you heard of that?
never heard
I
that.
have not. I have
Yeah,
not.
there's beings because once you're out of this physical body and you're someplace else, the you do we apparent
Like a
yeah
purgatory, like you're waiting for that next soul to be
well,
born that you can
yeah,
take over.
or you're just no, you might even be living another life in another planet or whatever, but you're missing. People say that in that space, that non-physical space, you
Mhm.
miss the physical experience of going for a walk, watching a sunset, eating an apple, and so that's part of being on planet Earth in three dimensions, 4 dimensions, in
Yeah.
this time-bound space that people miss.
If you talk to the near-death experience people or the people that have died and come back, and you listen to their stories, right? And I had that too. I had that near-death. Like I didn't cross over it. I was right at that edge and realized
Mhm.
I was dying and pulled myself back. Got thrown into my body. I mean, it was
Mm.
crazy. But that's when I hear the tones now. But all the people that did cross over, that did actually die, and they say what they see, the vibrant colors,
Mm. Mm.
unlike anything here at
Yeah,
Earth.
that's
Like
yes, I've heard that too. Yeah.
it's so different,
Mm. Mm.
So,
Yeah.
um, I mean, I think our paths are laid out. I think we have purposes. We have purposes here.
Mhm.
Mm.
We have our helpers that are helping and trying, like people like you that are putting out things like this, whether this is divinely inspired or not,
Mm.
whatever that little spark with
Yeah.
Santana and Metatron that
Mm.
sparked this whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
This helps people.
Oh
Mm.
yeah,
Oh,
for
thank you.
sure.
Sometimes you wonder, especially at late nights, you're going through the edits on the manuscript. You're
Oh,
like,
I know.
why the
Yeah.
heck did I get involved with this?
Mm.
Look at the dog ears. I mean, the dog ears are
Mm.
insane
Well,
on this.
thank you. That's
But yes, this helps. This absolutely helps people, and I love that
mm.
because people do need help,
Mm.
or nudge or a validation for what they think they
What they
believe.
believe or what they
Yeah.
think. Yeah, that's
You
true.
know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I think these are unusual times where people will want to, because I think it's going to be at the minimum chaotic. And
Sure.
just things, institutions and things we've known for centuries and, are going to be crumbling and changing and new things coming like, AI, we don't even know the impact of what AI is going to be doing. And things are going to
I
be
watch too
so
many horror
different.
movies. I don't want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. It's kind of a funny story. A friend, one I work with, she is like in her 50s. She's getting the kids ready to go, but her husband's taking the kids to school, and they're in the car. They're almost ready to leave, and she runs out because one of her kids dropped or didn't bring their lunch bag. So she has a lunch bag, runs out to the car, knocks on the car window, and does this. Like roll down
I
the
do
window,
it all the
and
time.
the kid's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
What is this?
that? I mean, it's just
Oh my
think of
God,
stuff
yes,
like
yes.
that is going to be changing, but exponentially more.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we need to be grounded. So to me, it's nice having. I know I can get to a place. I have a candle. I have incense. Like I try to every day. Sometimes I don't. Just get into a place to just plug in. To
Mhm.
spirit, and then everything's okay.
Yep. And whatever works for people, different things work for different people.
Yes. Right. Right.
So whatever works for you. If you're searching, Try different things. And you'll know it. You'll know it in your soul when it works for you.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
So there's
Just
so
be
many
open
guided
and prepared
meditations.
to,
Right.
Mm.
because you can't help, you won't learn anything new if you're not open to the possibilities of stuff, whatever
Mm.
that stuff it is you're looking to expand yourself into. You can't.
Mm.
I'll never learn to be a carpenter because I won't learn it. I'm not. I'm too old to be learning something new.
Though
But
you're
I'm open to understanding the messages that come to me and the things that come to me. And my issue is sometimes I have to be a little bit more open with translating those messages. Because
Mm.
like I don't put myself in a box as to what I do. Like I have conversations with angels. I'm a Reiki master. I call myself an oracle card interpreter because I interpret what I see.
Mm.
Generally, the people who get the readings, they understand it. But I don't say I'm a reader because 5 different people can read the
Yeah.
card. See 5
Yeah.
different things. If you're reading a book, you understand the words. That's what you're going to get. But I'm an interpreter, So I just call myself a healer. I heal the mind, the body, and the soul. But I
Mm.
mean, people are so, like I said earlier, people are waiting for that big, that big, ta-da, the big old giraffe. It's like one time when I was working, I was having a rough day. And this was a few years back. And it was the summertime and I was having a rough day. I said, come on, guys. Your angel team, I call them the dream team. I said, you got to help me out of this funk. It's something just not, it's not working today. And the reason I mention it's summer is because I went upstairs to the office. There's no people from the public is allowed up in this area.
Mm.
It is midsummer. My manager is in her office. She's in a tank top. She's got fans blowing, and there was this teeny tiny little feather, like the tiny ones you get from down coats, sitting on the floor, just outside of the door of the office.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, thank you. I picked it up, stuck it in my wallet, and I still have it to this day. Because I know that was my message to say, everything's going to be okay.
Mm.
And the thing was, it was what I believed. Somebody would like, oh, it just came off a coat. Dude, it's a winter coat feather. This is summer. Tell me who's got a down jacket now.
Yeah.
Like smacking the heck out of them.
Yeah.
But you have to be open-minded enough to see something and believe it, accept it.
Mm.
Maybe not believe it, but accept there's the possibilities. And there's a lot of people that are not open-minded enough to. It's like the feather, darling, whatever. It's a nugget
my
from
turquoise feather. I mean, it's like,
where does
where
that
in
come
my
from?
house do I have a turquoise feather? Nowhere.
Exactly. She got the bird
Nowhere.
paradise flying through her house, But the
Here-
people
here's-
have to understand it and just be open to it.
This is something I look in the Course in Miracles organization. I forget what it's called now, Pathways of Light or whatever, that
Okay.
disseminate the Course in Miracles book, and they set up a daily email of each of the lessons, and it's a summary, kind of a 1-page summary of the lesson. And so I've been going through that, and I've been so impressed. And the one thing I was going to bring up this about, we talk about signs, we talk about help. I was having a difficult time with recent political events, and certainly people. I was very angry. I was very angry at this person because I know they were, on the opposite side, and they were kind of gloating and possibly, But I was like, "Can you please?" And then the Course in Miracles said, "Ask for help so that you can see that person in Christ's vision, and see them in love." And so I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I don't know. But I did.
Myself.
But I did pray. I did put that intention out. Pray, please help me change my attitude and my emotions
Yep.
about. And it worked. And I'm like, that's like such a new thing. It's more emotion, cerebral. It's not.
This is the point, like, kind of in general, the whole point, right? Make up your mind, ask for it, you will receive it. People love to dwell in the misery. Okay. And it's like,
Yes.
oh, woe is me. Oh, the dark cloud follows me. Oh, it'll never change. Oh, blah, gloom and doom, blah, blah, blah. Right?
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
With that attitude, yes.
Yeah,
That's
right.
exactly what
There's
you're going to
some people aren't happy unless they're unhappy.
Yeah.
I
exactly.
think it's
The
one or the other.
chaos, the drama,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
I hate it. I hate it.
Mm,
I hate the drama. I hate the constant bickering of back and forth and well, you, and you. How about someone
mm,
go into the mirror and say, well, what did you do?
mm,
And look in
mm,
that mirror and say, is there something I did to provoke this? Is there something I can do to change this? Okay,
mm,
please help me with that. Right? Because you
mm.
can't change anybody else unless you change you first. Right?
Yep.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
if you don't love yourself, you're not going to love anybody else.
Here,
So,
here. Oh, go ahead.
you know, that's
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
that's a rant over.
This is a great angel story in the book, and it's called Angel Runner. It's one of my favorites, and it's about a woman. She wrote, she wrote this story down, sent it in, and this woman, she was in a really uncomfortable, poor relationship with her husband, always fighting. She's had it. She's, they're, just untenable. And so she was talking about divorcing him, and they were talking about divorce. But at the same time, she would go out and run every day. She's a runner, and so one day, she was going to go out to run, and she was just seethingly angry, like all the things, all the stupid things, all the things that he did against her, and how hurtful he was. And she was running and running. And during the run, she had this kind of like not a like a moment, like she started thinking about all the things that she did in the relationship that was hurtful to him, and how maybe that egged him on in some places sometimes. And then she started feeling bad about herself. And um and then at this and then at the same time, she got this feeling of forgiveness, that God forgave her, for being that way, right?
Mhm.
So around this time, there's this other man, kind of came the other way and said, "Would you mind if I run with you?" And so she said, "Sure." And they were running together for a little bit. And he says, and they're chit chatting, and they said, "Okay, well, I'm going this way, you're going that way." And the man says, "Oh, by the way, you should try forgiveness for him." And she goes, "Well, what?" And she goes, "Yes,
I
try forgiveness for him." And
get chills.
she said, I didn't even look back to see if he was there or not. I know he wasn't there.
Yep.
But it was like such a great story about forgiveness, certainly, and
Yeah,
about how we
pretty
can
pretty
learn.
crazy stuff. Pretty crazy
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Oh my God. And that stuff happens a lot. Because seriously, they can incarnate as anything, these angels, our guides, whatever. I mean, and they can be your puppy. Okay. They
Yeah.
can
Yeah. Yes.
a stranger. They can be someone you're sitting next to on a bus and you're talking, and other people are looking at you and you're talking to nobody.
Mm,
Like,
yeah.
Yep.
but it is
Mm.
true, and they do happen. And I've read these stories. I've heard these stories. I've talked with people that have done these things. I mean, hey, I've paid places to go in there and sit and talk into the dark,
Yep.
waiting for someone to come talk to me. Right?
Do you said, is it the fox your spirit animal? Is that what? Yeah. And Mama D, do you have a spirit animal?
The butterfly.
For me, it's mainly the butterfly, but that's who I work with, or the animal I work with when I'm sending healing. But I know I have in my dream team, I have a wolf, and the sheep, and I have a black panther.
A black.
Yes, it started out. Yeah, the Black Panther. I think people go through different spirit guides. When I was smaller, I had a mouse, and usually you'll collect these things, right? So if you have a collection of whatever when you were a kid, okay,
Mouses.
well that's it. Then I went to bunnies. Everything was bunnies, 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 and then it changed from bunnies to the fox, And now here, I mean, I could call the Guinness Book of World Records because I got more foxes and
That's so many boxes.
than anywhere. Right? Look at this. I mean, people send me. I have so many things just right here. Okay, right. I got a box hanging from my light here. I got foxes all over the place over there. They're over the entire house. Right? But usually you do collect whatever it is that your spirit guides are. But you got to find out what they mean, and you can look that up. what they
And the
need.
thing is, where I live, it's country, and we've seen moose, we've seen deer, we've seen mama bear and her babies, but it wasn't until last winter that one day I was driving down the road and there was a fox playing on somebody's property, just doing his little digging thing, his jumping his thing. And I was like, I looked at it, and windows are closed because I don't do cold, so winter windows are closed. And I looked at it and went, "Hey, Gina, nice to see you here." And it stopped and looked up at me. Couldn't have heard me. There's no way in the world. Windows were all closed. It just stopped there and looked at me and stood still. And I was like, "Oh, okay, see you, Gina." And when I came home, I was like, "Gina, you're in my ear."
Oh, wow.
I send my foxes out to watch over all the people I love. Dana will call me and say, "This fox is in my yard now." I went to in Gettysburg when it was at the old Gettysburg Ghost Exchange, when they had the old building by the battlegrounds and stuff. We stopped in there to visit, and when I left, she goes, "Oh my God, a fox came through the yard. They'd never seen a fox there after I left." And it's like, just marking my boundaries, and making sure everyone's all safe. Hey, Ted, how are you?
Stranger in the guest house.
I know. I haven't seen you in a while there, Ted. You've been hiding out.
Yeah, that was my first kind of spiritual, not experience, but spiritual, entity that came in my life. And this is only like 2 years ago. We on the podcast Psychic Story, somebody did a thing on spirit animals, and at the end she says, if you don't have one, just ask for one. You just ask.
Exactly.
So
Right.
that night, I like, please give me, please show me my spirit animal. And the next morning, in my mind's eye, a leopard, appeared, like strong. Like sometimes I would reach my hand over to pet her. I named her Shira, and she's with me the whole, like, just around, like always around.
Yeah.
And if I'm nervous, she does the figure eights in front of me, but she's like the watcher, the protector. And I hear that it might change,
It does. What you need in your life. Hey, when we go through changes, our body changes physically every 7 years, and our needs change. Like you think that you are spirit. There you go.
That's right. I got a Dalmatian Jasmine cheetah. I mean, a leopard.
This is the kids.
Yeah.
It's like the 9-tailed fox. It's like one of my main things too, like more metaphysical than the actual fox. That's the guardian of the realms, So it's like all that. But I've had a turkey, and I was like, great, a turkey, but look it up. Turkeys are pretty powerful, right? So it's what you need at the time.
Yeah.
Amazing. But I have like cards when we do our readings. We have different cards for different things. I'll have love and relationship cards and cards for your future endeavors and career and stuff, and spirit guides, spirit. So if you want, say, what's mine? I can put out a card and say, why don't you look at this one, and see if it pertains to you. What this card represents could be what is happening in your life right now. What kind of strength do you need? What kind of barrier do you need? What kind of boundary, are you trying to set? What kind of goal are you setting? All these things mean different things. Same thing with the spirit guides. You ask, I need assistance with my love life. I need assistance with my health. I need assistance with finances. I need assistance getting a job. Whatever it is, relationships, you name it, whatever it is, there is a guide, an angel, a deity, an animal, or something, and they will present themselves to you. And the key is to ask.
Yeah. And we're just programmed, do it yourself first, like we got to figure this out, I'd have to do it on them. Yeah.
You gotta go with it. You gotta be open to it. You gotta be able to accept it. So if you ask, don't knock what you get. Like I was like a turkey. Come on, right? But seriously, I'm telling you, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I want you guys to look it up, and then you can get back to me. All right, but it's a pretty powerful spirit guide, and it was what I needed at the time.
Do you guys work with crystals a lot? Are you
Always
involved
around.
with them? Yeah, always around. I'm just getting into that, and I appreciate that. Appreciate them, and I'd like
Thank you.
to. Oh yeah, I went to one of these. Nicole and I were out at the let's see, body, mind, spirit convention in Cincinnati in
Okay.
November, and there's like 2,000 booths there, and several hundred of them are crystal dealers, and I
Yeah.
just fell in love with some of those, really big crystals, and
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and, uh,
beautiful, great.
and I was looking for moldavite for a long time because it just intrigues me. I mean, the extraterrestrial part,
Mm-hmm.
and moldavite was formed. The true moldavite, was a meteor that landed in Czechoslovakia, Russia area, in that area, years ago. And then when it hit, it liquefied the earth and itself and created like a glass-like crystal called moldavite. And it has a lot of, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it has a lot of stellar galactic type of feelings about that. And it's very expensive.
That is what you are into because you are looking into that realm. So
Yes. Yeah,
you're
exactly.
looking into
Yeah.
that realm, you're going to get help from those things, and you're going to be intrigued by those things. So you know you're going in the right direction. Someone just showed me, and I don't know where the heck I was. Someone showed me a little teeny jar, and they had comet fragments in it.
Oh,
And I'm like, huh.
this is a moldavite, a little thing of moldavite. It's like when the light shines through, it's like a greenish
Yeah.
haze to it.
I don't think I have moldavite. This is all hematite, and this is a hematite butterfly, and that's like a protection type thing,
Yeah.
He, the fellow I was talking with, the crystal, he had a like a wand with 4 or 5 crystals on it, and there was a big chunk of moldavite in there with some other things like smoked quartz.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Do me a favor, just take this and sit in this chair for a little bit and see what happens." Right? I'm like, I had to watch my booth because Nicole was away, and I had to make sure people come up. But I managed to kind of put that off for a minute, and I was like on the way out, like out of it, and he said, and I had an experience with this wand of different crystals, and he said he put this smoky quartz in there to kind of tame the effect of the moldavite. And
Yeah.
anyway, it was like $750, and I didn't have the money at the time. Plus, I didn't want to go
I
I
don't
didn't want to
spend
go
that kind of
shooting
money.
out. Yeah, I didn't want to go shooting out somewhere and not be able to get back.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I
thank you.
don't spend that kind of money on crystals. I have what appeals to me at the time, whether it's like a rough,
Yeah, you wonder about how much of it is you're gaining energy, you're putting energy into it,
yeah. And I always
reflecting back.
love tiger eye, so I have a whole tiger eye. I've loved tiger
Oh
eye
yeah.
since I was younger. All of this is like a chakra, all the chakra beads. I think I took it off. I have one that's for my throat chakra. That's all the blue.
I noticed she's not wearing it.
Yeah, I thought I had it on, but apparently I must have taken it off. I don't know why. I use them a lot. Like I used to when I'm going on investigations, I'd have all my crystals out, and I'd just put my hand over them, and and I'd just like tell me what I need to have in my pocket to either protect me, amplify me, or whatever. So if you want amplification, you throw some quartz in there. If you want some grounding and protection, like I have one that's all. This one is more of a protection. It's all hematite, tiger eye, and obsidian.
Without them, do you feel like unprotected?
No, because I grounded shield. It's just an added bonus and a buffer.
It's like a reminder.
Yeah.
It's physical extension.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a buffer. I like them. I feel comfortable with them. But no, I have to ground and shield every day, twice a day. When I go to bed, I ground and shield. When I wake up in the morning, I ground and shield from what attacked me all night, from what it's bothered me all day, and get rid of it, before I go to bed. So, and I'm very, empathic, intuitive, all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. And if I don't want the world's problems to just keep me up and make me miserable all night,
Mm.
then poof, it's got to
I've,
go.
and I have a lot of, I have some grounding meditations and thoughts that I do, and there's lots out there. What do you call it? Ground and shield?
Yep.
What exactly is that? If you wouldn't mind sharing.
Not at all. So I'm barefoot right now. I'm always barefoot. But it's
Mm.
best. I mean, if you're really bothered or something's really gunking you up, go outside and put your feet in the dirt.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the best thing. But if you rub your hands together like this, right? Do
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
I want you to do this. Rub, 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 rub. Okay.
Heats
You're
up.
gonna get friction. Then you're gonna put your hands apart from each other. In the camera. You put your hands apart from each other, and you can feel like a tingling. Now, if you start going in, and you'll
Oh,
feel like a resistance.
yes, yes. Yeah.
This is your energy. All right, some people feel it way out here. I feel it way out here. All right, but you can take that energy, and this is how I do it. I take this energy and I go from the top of my head, and I'm pushing out the negative energy that has got me all day, and I go all the way down my feet, and then I throw it away, and then I will do this again, and I will come out all the way until I feel that I am cleansed of all this negativity, attacks, psychic attacks, physical attacks, anything that's happening. And I'll do this all the way through till I'm empty. Then the most important thing is you got to fill it up. Now, what do you need? Okay, there are different lights. The different lights mean different things. White light, golden light, blue light, green light. What do you want to fill your body with? If I want healing, I'll say I want to fill with golden light. Okay. So now I do the same thing. I rub again and I ask, please fill me with the golden light. And we'll do that again and I will fill it. Now that's the grounding. The shielding is I continue to do that until it comes out around me and makes a big bubble around me. And that is my shield of protection. If I'm going into battle with maybe a negative entity at a building, I will do this and I will, in my mind's eye, I will put mirrors on the outside of my bubble, because if this entity is going to think it's going to attack me or it's attached to me or come home with me or anything like that, it's going to see itself, it's going to scare itself away, and it's going to leave me a heck alone. All right, so this works for me.
Good, thank you. Yeah. Now, in the grounding part, do you say you pushed out the bad stuff, off your feet and away? Do you ever, and this is like a minor thing, but would you visualize it going deep into the earth?
Yep.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
so that's,
yes.
okay.
And and I still
earth.
like, if you're outside, you can just go and ground down to the ground.
Got it.
When you're in a house, it's like you can ground all the way down to your feet, but then throw it away so it's away from you.
Got it.
You know what I mean? You throw it away and it's away from you. Same thing when you're doing Reiki and you're cleansing and you're scraping, you're scraping the gunk out of people, like prana healing. You're moving energy. It's all energy related. But you can draw energy out, you can scrape energy away, you can fill energy up. But the most important thing is, so you can't leave your body empty.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Barbara Handclough is a woman who's a teacher, scientist, developed a book called The Alchemy of the Nine Dimensions. And it came to her from, it was literally downloaded to her from the Pleiadians. And it's an incredibly detailed book that she simplified. Like the book, it's not complicated to read, but you can tell there's a lot to it. But she goes through the nine dimensions, and the first dimension is the center iron core crystal of the earth. And then goes up through the between the core and the surface, and then we're in 3D, linear space and time, and then it goes to celestial levels, and then it ends up the ninth dimension is the black hole in the center of our galaxy. And she said, her background is Cherokee Indian, and she has a grounding exercise that she does called seven direction.
Yeah, the medicine wheel.
Yeah, you face the east, and those four, and then up, and then down, and then the seventh is your heart. in that center. And
Yep.
it's like such a, for me, it was just a very visual. And then,
Yep.
throughout the day, picture yourself in that ground, like you're grounded no matter where you go.
Mhm.
And she said, picture yourself in that. That's where you are. And then, so that was kind of cool. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
this,
I like the
yeah,
grounding.
yeah, when I cleanse a house,
Mhm.
I use different methods because it's a different. I got to find out what it is I'm trying to get rid of first of all,
Mm.
but I do a lot of Native American that way. I go in and I face, the north, the south, the east, the west, Father Sky, Mother Earth, ground the
Yeah.
room, shield the room, seal the room with holy
Mm.
water, right? So
Mm.
I'll use some of, religion plus
Yeah.
American,
Mm.
and it works. So,
Now so you kind of not order them around, but you move spirits out, like bad spirits. You actually make them go away, right? In a sense, right? You have that. You're using your divine abilities to do that. In that process, are there angels and spirits that help you, that you call on, that are more than just you doing it?
oh God, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just wondered.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
100%. So
Mm.
so between me grounding and shielding, and like I said, like I'll pick a crystal that is showing to me, and like if I'm going into a battle, something evil, I'll ask Archangel Michael to bring him and his, you know, minions, his
Yes. Right.
all
Okay. Yeah.
his whole what do you call them? His
Angels
crew, his
is
crusaders there, like,
mm,
but and if I can't do something, like I have, you got to have the, I don't know, confidence to go in to be able to
yes,
do
I
this,
would think.
or at least I can give it my best shot. But sometimes I can't do it, and then I know like shaman that can do things remotely, like in Michael Robichaud, and he can
Yeah.
send an archangel and the whole crew and then some remotely into a place, and you'll hear them. Like it feels like the
Wow.
roof moves, and it's getting crushing, and it's like crazy. You feel it.
So
Mhm.
you'll call him and say, like, I'm going
Yeah,
into this house. I
yeah,
need,
I
could you blah 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 do this. Help with this.
yeah.
Wow, that's pretty
But
amazing.
a lot of times the spirits are not really evil. They just are
Misunderstood.
angry people, you
Yeah.
know, and they're
Grumpy.
portraying themselves as evil, and they're not. But
Yeah.
if you have a conversation with them too, like they're not used to having regular conversations. So if you
Mm,
try to explain, hey, you're really hurting these people, and I don't know why,
mm,
what is it that you feel that you are doing that you
mm,
have to hurt these people? What do you want? You know,
yeah.
and then if you can come to an agreement and get them to understand that, they're harming to leave. If they don't leave on their own, then they have to be evicted.
Wow,
You know.
that's so cool. A few people come up and I'd be at a show or something, and they'd say, like, how come you didn't get into like the demonic world? I mean, you talk about angels, you're really leaving out this whole thing and blah blah blah. And I said, well, first of all, the book is called Looking for Angels.
Yeah.
And second of all, we did talk about that, and it'd be double the size to be,
Right.
Mhm.
there is a world.
Right.
And plus we just wanted to be light and love and positive and stick with the good guys. So
Yep.
that's what we ended up doing.
But again, that too. Now that in the realm, that's Hollywood, really. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
horror movies. That's
Yeah.
that's freaking ghost adventurers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything's demonic. It's not. Right?
Mm,
That it. Not saying it doesn't happen because it does. Where there's good, there is evil. All right, it's true.
yeah.
Right? But it is this. It's the minority. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like out of 1,000 cases, you might have one that might even
Right.
possibly not even be an evil entity. Again, it's
Yeah.
probably meant for
And,
spirit.
and it's our human nature. I mean, you think about ETs and, extraterrestrial, people from other galaxies. And, I think of I have to look up the movie. I think it's called, It Came from Outer Space. It's a black and white, and a flying saucer landed in the desert, the first thing that we do is they come up with a Jeep and start shooting at it.
Oh,
It's like, it's got to be bad, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
exactly.
and so
Right.
that's, and
I'm just
I,
going to say it. God forbid they land now, because Trump's going to send them back.
yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know if you're if you're hearing this, but first contact is, around the corner. Like there's going to be a public contact with, an alien, a star nation, as they call it. And they've been with us, for
Oh
thousands of
God, for
years.
thousands of years. Yeah.
There's two references of people testifying that they work with governments around the world, for years,
Mhm.
and they've been tracking us. But the big thing is, I say they're not like us,
Oh,
and what does that mean? It means that they're not out to, they've solved so many things. They don't need anything from us, and
Right.
they're not out to take away and conquer and occupy planet Earth. They don't need that.
No,
That's us. That's us
that's
thinking
human.
that we're lack.
That's human emotions. Yep.
Yeah. That's us thinking that we're being, the people overseas are gonna take things from us if we don't get them first, and all that stuff. That's us, but they're not like us. So that's the key thing there.
I think that's one of the other reasons too why I'm so done with this. I need to be with those people.
I know. Well, that's what.
Because I can't take it anymore. I can't handle how people treat each other, how badly people
Yeah.
treat each other, how the drama, the destruction, the wars, the things that you would think, for God's sake, you would think after the bomb went off in
Yeah.
Hiroshima,
Yeah.
you would think that destruction that would make people want peace, want
Yes.
work
Right.
together. You know that the world can work together because COVID hit and everybody shut down. Right?
Oh,
That was a global thing. That was
Okay.
everybody agreed on
Yeah.
this one thing.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
possibility.
Well,
Yeah.
most people agreed with.
Well, I mean, it's shut down the world. quite
Yes. Either way. Yeah. Right. Either way.
Either
it was
way,
shut
and the
down.
powers that be made it happen. But
Yeah.
it's a possibility that everybody can
and we're together.
get on the same
Now,
page.
and
Now.
that's the thing. It gives me hope, and I've heard this from, from people channeling from, collectives like Sarai. I don't know if you know Sarai. Angelic collectives.
Mhm.
Angelic.
There's so many. Like
Yeah.
you know,
I
you're
guess there. Yeah. There's.
a group of
But
people that we are. I mean, I've got a lot of books here. A lot of people.
yeah.
we've had on,
But I've heard it enough times, and it's like one of those things that gets me. Like, yeah, I think this is it. That we are about to, and they all say it's smooth sailing after a time of unrest. Smooth sailing.
It has to be.
Yes.
It has to be.
We're
Yeah.
not going through all this stuff
Yeah.
just to continue life like it is or like it was.
Yeah.
It's like people go in what was it in 2012? Oh, it's the end of the world, blah, 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 blah. I said, yeah, it is. It's the end of the world as we knew it. There was a lot of changes in 2012. COVID brought a lot of changes. May not be a lot of changes that we enjoyed, but I mean, I looked at it like it was a reprieve for Mother Earth, because look at all the good things that happened to the Earth while we were all on lockdown.
Yes.
Dolphins in the canals and Venice canals and things like that. Everything was changed. So that was another change. Are we going through some stuff right now? Yes. Is it going to last forever? No. But you have to be open enough to say, I'm going to ride with this. I'm going to ride the wave. I may not totally agree with it. I'm one of those crazy people that always has to find the silver lining in every dark cloud.
Well, that's it.
I know that there's that everything that we're going through right now, there's got to be a positive spin on it. Pretty much I can find it.
Some people will understand that and get that.
And some
But
people
then again,
like
it's like we got to change those numbers, because right now the majority doesn't get it, and we need, the minority that does to.
Here's a thing that I was kind of interested in. I've always heard that if a certain percentage of a population raises their vibration, right? We have, they have the meditation studies. I just started one with Lynn Taggart. It's starting on Saturday, an intention experiment where thousands of people are going to have a focused city, and we're going to pray 15 minutes a day for, I don't know,
that.
10 days. And she's done this in the past, and it works. But that if a certain percentage of a population changes its vibration, the whole population it'll kind of go over a threshold.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, all this stuff about, people leaving organized religion, getting more spiritual, like, I don't know if that's going to do it. Then I heard the statistic about how the percentage of population of people who say they meditate regularly in the US tripled from 2017 to 2021 or something like that.
Because of the internet, people didn't know how to.
It could have been the pandemic, and then also worldwide numbers are going. And I'm like, you know what? That's probably more effective. That's probably what's going to change.
Right.
Is
Well,
more
that's what
people
National
meditating.
Ghost Hunters Day was supposed to do. That
Oh,
there was a day, like the whole preface of the whole thing was, if everybody is going to investigate at the same time, ask the same 3 questions, are they going to get the same 3 answers? And will it, shrink the veil down? Will it thin the veil out? Will it all this? And then, so everyone was trying this at the beginning. And now, of course, it's, Drama Fest and the paranormal, and it doesn't do that anymore. You know what I mean? So, again, the humans take it over. But the concept of it was pretty cool.
Yeah, the collective mind, What do you two think of Dolores Cannon's work? Are you familiar with her?
Yes.
I
have one of her books.
do you?
Yeah.
What was it?
So
What is it?
basically, she spent 40 years. She's a therapist and a hypnotist, right? She does hypnotist in her therapy, and then she got into the deeper sombolytic, deep trances where people can't fake and block and do things. And she stumbled on, and then she was working with people who were supposedly abducted by aliens to find out what happened, and it was helping them get over their trauma, which is fine. But then she went into a whole different route where extraterrestrials would communicate with her through the person she was working with in through hypnosis. And she wrote books and books and books about all kinds of things, like what they're here, how long they've been here, what they're tying with history, or back in the Egypt, and all kinds of things. And it's just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Two books.
That's what sparked me was the Egypt thing.
Yeah, the one book, Custodians, and then the other the other 2 books are A Convoluted Universe, which are really the core of what she was been working on. And it's just mind-blowing. That's all I can say over and over again. But I'm just kind of,
I haven't gotten into is that type of study. Again, I believe that that's out there. I have not studied that extensively. I have not had a lot of shows. We had like Vivienne Chauvet, and she's from another world.
yeah.
She's like half and half, and she's here, and she's like on the Galactic Council.
Yeah. There's a whole system. Yeah.
There's a hierarchy there.
And you talk to a bunch of people, and they're all talking about the same kind of structures and things and governance. It's like very strange. But the one thing
I had one guy too, though, that was talking about that kind of stuff, and our show got flagged and taken off. Said didn't meet their standards or some kind of something.
Oh,
that Chris something or other we had on.
Yeah.
The one thing I not hint at, I have a chapter on it in my new book, is that where do we get our information from, about spiritual things? And I talk about, religion and this and that, and how we know things, we learn it through authority, we learn it through experiment, this and that. And I get into channeling, that some people channel, and, you just have to, like so many other things, you just have to take it by faith. And I kind of expanded channeling to say, well, maybe, I just called it and say the Apostle Paul channeled the Book of Corinthians. Muhammad had verbal information from Allah to write the Quran. These are all, and I said these are all channeling.
Isn't
It's all
God's scry?
What's that?
Isn't Metatron God's scry?
Yes, right. And that like let's just call this and say spirit has been channeling information to us for thousands of years, and it didn't stop 2,000 years ago either. It kept on going. And so why I do that is just to say you have to crack the door a little bit to say there's information out there that's pertinent, that's true, that can help us. And it's not from a sacred text or something that you can study in a laboratory. Not that you could study anything about religion in a laboratory, but people just decide to believe it. And but in any case, that's what I'm trying to do is kind of open people's minds to at least consider that there are things about the universe, about ourselves, that are coming from sources that we've known about for years, but maybe it's time to pay a little more attention to them, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Let them in the shadows, and all of a sudden turn the lights on.
Yep. I mean, like I said, I'm claircognizant. I worked in construction.
Yes.
And I would, even if I didn't know how to do something, I would take the job. I'd be like, because I know for a fact that before I do it, it's going to come to me. I'm going to know exactly what tools I'm going to need. I'm going to know exactly how to do this. And it worked every time.
And that's what the message is that we can all start doing that more and more. We don't have to, wait until we have a degree or certification,
Yep. Nope. Absolutely.
Exactly.
What do we do? Oh my God.
57. Yeah.
We didn't have a station break. We didn't cut for station break.
No, we didn't. Oh my God. You're amazing. Oh my God. We are at the end. So, okay. People, I'm not kidding. Okay. You need to get this book. I can't wait. When you get the other one done, please let me know when you're done, when you get it out there, because I want to have it back on and I can't wait to read it. But this right here,
in the
you
fall.
need this on your shelf. You need it that you can reference it, because seriously, if you want to know, like, okay, I need help with something, anything, whatever it is, like what archangel, what deity, who can I pray to? Who can I ask? There's a guide in the back. There's references in the back. You know what I mean? Like, go to the back and look at where all the things are in the book. All right, there's so much in here. Oh my God, it's packed. It's packed.
Available on Amazon, wherever books are sold, Barnes and Noble.
Audio. Well. I just downloaded the audio just before the show started.
And there are still some of these beautiful gift boxes too. So if you know someone that really wants to get in touch with their angels and love angels, and you want a gift for them, get the gift box too, because to get the candle and crystals and little bag and all these goodies in here, and your own little books and matches.
That was like
cute. I like those.
It tells you a little a whole article on your
crystal instructions.
On your meditation, on how to care for your crystals that you have, all that. It's amazing. I think you're amazing. I really truly do, and I do hope you had a good time here with us.
Oh yes, thank you so much. You it is just like that, sitting in a diner talking about things. So thank you both so much. You're really great working
it's been
with.
A blast.
We definitely want to have you back. All right, so guys, we're going to say ciao for now. We love you all. We'll see you next week. I don't know what it is, but we'll see you. I'm sure it'll be great.
Oh, it is.
I don't know who it is, but ciao for now.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Get the book.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests or our own intuitive oracle card reading shows. We are streaming live on Facebook on my personal page and our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, on Mama D's YouTube channel, Angel Meadows, as well as our audio-only venues. We hope you enjoyed our show and our guest, or your reading, and we would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, share, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.